If you're trying to get pregnant, you've probably wondered, when is the best time to conceive? How often should I have sexual intercourse? And is there really a sexual position that can help me get pregnant faster? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the best timing for pregnancy, how often you should have sexual intercourse, and the only proven sexual position that can boost your chances of getting pregnant. Stick around with me because you don't want to miss this. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sandra. I'm a registered nurse midwife with a BNSC degree. If you're just coming across my video for the first time, please do not make it your last by clicking on the subscribe button and the bell icon beside it, so that when I upload subsequent videos, you'll be the first to get notified. With that being said, let's dive straight into the video. Before we get into the sexual position, it is very important for you to know your menstrual cycle, your fertile window, and the right time to have sexual intercourse. Why? Because you can only get pregnant during ovulation. Knowing your fertile window is very important because that is the only time conception can happen. This is when the sperm meets with a matured egg, and this requires timing as your fertile window occurs around ovulation. Now, how do you know your fertile window or your fertile days? To calculate your fertile window, you need to first know your cycle length, which is the number of days from the first day you see your period to the day before your next period starts. The average cycle length is 28 days, but it can range from 21 days to 35 days, meaning if your cycle is 21 days, 22 days, 23, 24 days, 25, up to 35 days, it is considered normal. It's only when it's below 21 days or above 35 days that it's considered abnormal. So the average cycle length being 28 days doesn't mean that your cycle length has to be 28 days. It has a range from 21 to 35 days. That is still normal. Now, after you've been able to tell what your cycle length is, the next thing is to know when you are ovulating. If your cycle length is 28 days, ovulation usually happens on day 14. To estimate ovulation, all you have to do is subtract 14 from your cycle length. Even if your cycle length is 35, 30, 28, 27, 29, whatever your cycle length is, just subtract 14 from it. Just see that 14 as a constant number. We're going to be working with a 28-day cycle length. You're going to start counting from the first day of your period, that's the first day of your cycle, to day 14 of your cycle, which is your ovulation day. That is how you count. The first day of your cycle, which is the first day you see your period, to day 14 of your cycle. That is your ovulation day. But this doesn't necessarily mean you will ovulate on every day 14 of your cycle, because ovulation isn't always exact. That is why we use the +2 or -2 method. Now, how do you do this? The +2 or -2 method is you add 2 to the initial day of ovulation. Let's say for this 28-day cycle, you are going to ovulate on day 14, right? Now you're going to add 2 to that. Now you can either ovulate on day 14, which is your initial day of ovulation, day 15, or day 16. Now when you -2, you're either going to ovulate on day 12, day 13, or day 14, which is the initial day of your ovulation. So that is how this works. So for a 28-day cycle, ovulation can happen on day 12, day 13, day 14, day 15, or day 16. So that is basically the +2 or -2 method. Now, when is the best time to have sexual intercourse to boost your chances of getting pregnant? Since sperm can survive in the female body for up to 5 days, your fertile window will now be 6 days leading to ovulation, the ovulation day itself, and 2 days after ovulation. This is the best time you should be having sexual intercourse when you're trying to conceive. Now, let me explain. Remember, for a 28-day cycle length, a typical ovulation day is on day 14. We did the plus and -2 method, then we got our ovulation day to happen on either day 12, day 13, day 14, day 15, or day 16. Now, because sperm can survive in the female body for up to 5 days, you take the earliest day of ovulation for that 28-day cycle length, which is on day 12. that is the earliest day of ovulation for a 28-day cycle length, then you count 5 down to day 12. When you count 5 up to day 12, that's going to be on day 8. So from day 8 to day 12, let's say that's the 5 days the sperm is going to stay in the body. And from that day 12, for a 28-day cycle, she's going to start expecting her ovulation from day 12 to day 16. So you're just going to add that day 8 to day 16. These 9 days are a fertile window. So from day 8, day 9, day 10, day 11, day 12, day 13, day 14, day 15, day 16. These 9 days are the fertile window for a 28-day cycle. Having sexual intercourse during these 9 days, this fertile window, gives the sperm the highest chances of meeting the egg. So if you're trying to conceive, this is the best time to have sexual intercourse. If you want a detailed video on how to calculate your menstrual cycle length, your fertile window, and your ovulation, do let me know in the comment and I'll try and make that happen. So that brings us to the next one, which is, how often should you have sex when trying to conceive? You don't need to have sex every single day when trying to conceive, but if that is how your relationship is with your partner, that is totally fine. I am not saying you should not have sex every day if that is what works for you, but for optimum results, having sex every other day within that 9 days, within your fertile period, is enough when trying to conceive. So for a 28-day cycle, you should be having sex every other day from day 8 to day 16. This keeps the sperm supply fresh and increase your chances of conception. Having sex every day will not give the sperm that optimum sperm results. Just make sure to stay relaxed and enjoy the flow, as stress can affect ovulation. Now to the one sexual position that can get you pregnant fast. Is there really a sexual position that can increase your chances of getting pregnant? Well, the answer is no. There is no scientific evidence that one position is better than the other. So, sexual position doesn't really matter when trying to conceive, as long as there's deep penetration and sperm is deposited inside the vagina. Just relax, the sperm can reach the egg. Sperm reach the fallopian tube within minutes of ejaculation, no matter the sexual position. And this is because the sperm cells are actively motor and swim upwards on their own. So this movement isn't significantly affected by sexual position. So it doesn't really matter the type of positioning that you're using, as long as there is that deep penetration and the sperm is being deposited inside the vagina. The sperm is already on its way to do its job. Just relax. Instead of focusing on sexual position, here is what really matters when you're trying to conceive. The first one is timing sex within your fertile window. That is why it is important for you to understand your menstrual cycle, your fertile window, and your ovulation. Then the second one is tracking ovulation through basal body temperature, cervical mucus, and others. I have a video on this on my channel, 10 signs of ovulation. You should check it out. I'll also be dropping the link in the description box below. Others are maintaining a healthy diet, a healthy weight, and reducing stress. These are the things that really matters when trying to conceive, not the sexual position, because they don't really make a major difference. Then if you're worried about sperm leaking out after sex, you don't have to be. I also have a video on that on my channel where I talked about sperm leaking out of the vagina. If you watch that video, you get the explanation in detail. Just know that the healthiest and the strongest sperm has already gone in to do its job. What you see coming out is just extraseminal fluid. It's nothing really to be worried about. Now, let's talk about what you don't need to do when trying to conceive. The first one is lying with your legs up for up to about 30 minutes after sexual intercourse. Honestly, this is not necessary. Sperm that will reach the egg gets there within minutes of ejaculation. So lying there, putting your legs up because you want the sperm to go in is not necessary. The second one is having sex every day for best results. That is not true. Having sex every day would not give the sperm the optimum sperm result. So it is advisable to have sex every other day within your fertile window. This is just as effective when trying to conceive. You don't need to have sex every day. One thing I want you to know is that fertility is affected by overall health and lifestyle, Just a little change, that might just be it for you. Have you been tracking your cycle or trying to conceive? Do you need a detailed guide on how to calculate your cycle? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more helpful tips. And always remember, your health is your wealth. Little changes makes a big difference. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.